Good Sunday, YouTube. How you guys doing? Today is Sunday, September 17th, 2017. I am Jared Fuller. Thanks for watching. A lot to get to in this week's video update. So on Friday, I went to visit some relatives in up north of here. They live up near Gladwin. They lived in Chesaning, right in town. They lived there for probably, I'd say, a good 7 or 8 years. And they moved up north, and I went to visit them on Friday, and the kids were happy to see me. From Anthony right on down to Ethan, they were all happy to see me, and it was a wonderful visit. I loved it. I enjoyed myself, and I'm looking forward to going back very soon, hopefully, as soon as I get my van fixed. As soon as I get my van fixed, I was coming home from their house, and it was probably, I'd say, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I didn't see a tree. There was a large tree limb crossing the road, and I didn't see it until I got to it. My lights were on dim because there was oncoming traffic. And so I drove over it doing 45 miles an hour, and the driver's side front tire, the rim dented in, and I was broke down for a good hour or so. I called the Midland County Sheriff because this happened on Waldo Road near Hubbard, for those of you who are familiar with Midland County, Larkin Township, that kind of thing. So I waited. Midland County Sheriff showed up and says, well, we can't have you out here all night. Well, I didn't plan on being out here all night, and it's no disrespect to the Midland County Sheriff's Department, but I didn't plan on being out there all night. That wasn't my intention. Maybe if the county would do a better job of cleaning up their messes, I wouldn't have been standing out there with my emergency flashers on. So that's what happened. My dad showed up, and luckily someone who noticed that I was broke down, he had a tire that fit my van, and it was a 16-inch tire, and he got, he took it off of an old van that he scrapped out, and he let me borrow it to drive back home. But here's the issue. I still can't drive the van because the beads are showing on this tire. So tomorrow, either way, tomorrow, Monday, I have to go up to my insurance company. I have full coverage insurance, so hopefully there's something they can do to help me out. And I'm so hoping, that I don't have to pay a deductible. I don't think I'll have to. I hope I don't, because I don't have any money. I'm strapped for cash at the moment. So, I'm stuck home again until Dad says, hey, let's go somewhere, and I'll ride with him somewhere. But other than that, I have no other transportation until I find a better tire that will, work. It'll be substantial enough for me to drive on. It sucks being stuck home alone. Well, I'm not home alone, but I mean, when I am home alone and Dad and Amy want to go away somewhere, which, by the way, yes, Dad and Amy are back together again. So I just, it sucks. It always happens to me. It's like I'm being jinxed. But, life goes on, and I just have to take it in stride. So that's one thing. And I wanted to do a special shout out too. There's a little girl who lives in Iron Mountain. Her name is Aurelia. It was her birthday on Friday, and I called her up, or actually her ma called me, because I sent a text message, and I said, would it be okay if I wished Aurelia a happy birthday over the phone? And she says, absolutely. Just give me a few minutes, and I'll get her on the phone. Well, her mom called. I talked to Aurelia, wished her a happy birthday. She turned 9. I talked to her brother Abram, who is a Wilms tumor childhood cancer survivor, and I also talked to their mother, Kelly. So it was a wonderful phone call. I look forward to future phone calls, and I just wanted to say, I love you, Aurelia, and Abram, and Kelly, and Todd, and Aurelia, I hope you had a wonderful birthday. Being 9 years old is a very special age in a child's life, and I just wanted to say again, happy birthday, and I hope your day was special. So there's that, and anybody else who's watching this, and you know, if you've been affected by childhood cancer, or your children have been affected by childhood cancer, I know I haven't really been doing a whole lot on my YouTube channel to raise awareness, and for that I apologize. We're in the 17th day of Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and I haven't really been able to do a lot of brainstorming and coming up with ideas, visual ideas as to what I can do to help raise awareness and to just get the word out and to get people enthused about raising awareness to childhood cancer. There's only so much you can do, and if you can't get people enthusiastic about raising awareness to it, then, I mean, there's really nothing more that I could say or do that would ever convince or change people's minds and want to get involved in this. But the one reoccurring thing that always comes back is until it's your child, which I hope it never is, you're never going to really and truly understand. Watching St. Jude commercials, and it's not to single out St. Jude, because there's a lot of wonderful organizations that specialize in doing research, but St. Jude is a children's research hospital, so I always reference that. There's more to it than what you see in the St. Jude commercials, and any parent can tell you that, any child warrior who is old enough to really remember what goes on and actually have a clear and vivid recollection of hospital stays, needle pokes, and things like that. They can also tell you that there's more to it than what you see on television. It's just like those commercials that you see sometimes, especially around Christmas, of the starving children. And it's not to make light of that, because starvation is a real problem. It's a real issue, especially with children, and we need to make sure that we try to alleviate this problem. We can't totally erase it, but we can help to eliminate it gradually. But it's the fact that we all have emotional appeals to children. It's just instinctively we're talking about children, and they know how to tug at our emotions, and that's how they capitalize. And I'm not saying they're bad organizations, and I'm not saying that they're not positive, but what I'm saying is that we all have emotional appeals to children. We have a confirmed bias about children, and everything revolves around children, and we want to keep our children safe and make sure they're healthy and that they are number one priority, which is clearly not the case at all. Because if that were the case, there wouldn't be all of these issues. And childhood cancer is the icing on the cake, because there's not enough money being used to, it's not, 4% of government funding is just not enough. Given the fact that tens of thousands of children annually are diagnosed, I think the statistic is 1 in every 285 children or something like that. I don't know. I see, all kinds of different statistics. I do Google searches. I don't have Facebook anymore. And even Facebook is not it's not always a very good, reliable source for information. Which is one of the many, many splendid reasons that I had relinquished social media, and now I'm reduced to YouTube. So it's not like y'all don't get to see me, or even hear my voice anymore, or listen to my ideas. And there's something I kind of wanted to mention as well. This weekend is CareFest in Washington, D.C., and anybody who's watching this, I wish you well. I hope you're having fun. And And there are marches on Capitol Hill. And my only concern is it actually making a difference? I'm not saying I don't have faith in, well, I don't have faith in anything, but I'm saying I'm not saying that I don't believe that the plan will work or that the goal will be met. All I'm saying is, are we seeing some kind of incremental change when it comes to childhood cancer and getting more federal tax dollars geared toward research? Are we actually seeing improvements here? Because that's something that concerns me. If people are just going to CareFest to have something to talk about on Facebook, then you're not being genuinely sincere about this. And most of the people, I would say, who attend the CareFest, they are actually serious and they're being sincere about wanting to be heard on Capitol Hill. So, it just begs the question, is it really working? Is there any kind of change being made, or are there changes occurring from within the Oval Office when it comes to raising awareness? Are your voices being heard? Is Trump actually listening to what you have to say? I didn't vote. I don't vote at all, actually. I'm not a very political person at all. But apart from all that, it's just the idea that if you're going to do something, at least, and maybe I shouldn't be giving advice because I'm actively not really doing a whole hell of a lot when it comes to raising awareness of childhood cancer, but I've kind of slowed down a bit. This is the 17th day of Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. I haven't really done a lot on my YouTube channel because I don't know of any other way to be visual and to be vocal about childhood cancer to get people enthused. And the only thing that keeps coming back to my mind is, when it's your child, then you'll understand. But, marching, doing something is better than doing nothing. And when you compare that, there's that comparative analysis that, doing something is better than doing nothing. But my only concern is your something actually doing something? And it's not to shame it. It's not to put it down. I'm sure CareFest is a positive movement in raising awareness to childhood cancer. Is it actually, is there some kind of benefit to come from it? Because when I was on Facebook and in years past when CareFest would be coming around, a lot of the people would, they say, well, I don't need to go to CareFest. I want to go to CareFest, or vice versa. So if you're just going to take a picture for Facebook, if you're going for all intents purposes of making your life look as fulfilling as possible by sharing on Facebook, then don't go, if that's all your reason is for going. If you're going to go, do it for the express purpose of, I want to partake in raising awareness and I want to march on Washington or whatever. I've never been to a CareFest. I'd like to go one of these days if I ever get rich enough to afford a plane ticket. But and something else too. They call it CareFest, which, it's nothing to be festive about. Childhood cancer is a very extremely barbaric disease. I don't know how anybody could make a festival. Maybe I'm not saying change the name, but I don't understand how can you make a festival surrounding something that is deadly? Maybe I'm just looking at it from an incorrect angle, because I understand context of words, But CareFest, I mean, and then I think, well, there were those who weren't cared, and they ended up dying because, as a result. Like I said, I'm not trying to put CareFest down or anything like that, but I mean, there's a lot of holes that, for me anyway, personally. But anyway, that's just my opinion, and I want it more than anything. More, just like the next person. I want there to be a cure in my lifetime for childhood cancer. And I've had a lot of heat thrown my way about, oh, Jared, you're always touting about being a survivor. Yes, I have survivor guilt. That is a real thing. I only share my story. Even when I was on Facebook, I shared my story bits and pieces because I wanted to provide hope. I don't want to provide false hope, but hope, I think, is like, I don't know, it's kind of like false energy in a way. I don't know. Because when I put it that way, it's like, well, I want to provide hope. Well, it kind of makes it sound like I'm not sincere, but I am. That's the difference. I am sincere in wanting what's best for everybody. That's why I talk about my story and being a survivor, because I want to provide that hope. I want to give, at least, if I can't be an inspiration to people, the least I can do is just kind of provide hope. And I know it's not much. I know it doesn't really solve anything when it comes to curing a disease or finding solutions to the problems that we face with childhood cancer. But at least from a survivor standpoint, I can say, look, if I can do it, you can do it. Just kind of give that positive energy. I want it to radiate, so that way, it kind of gives people hope. I've always called myself a walking miracle survivor, but again, survivor guilt, because there are many, many children, and I've spoken with their parents. I was friends with their parents on Facebook. It breaks my heart knowing that this is a new reality for them, and maybe to some degree, maybe the parents, and I'm not going to make a blanket statement here, but I know a lot of the parents feel relieved. Okay, my child had passed away, and they don't have to go through this anymore. It's kind of a weight off my shoulders now, knowing that they're no longer suffering, which I can agree with that. I'm totally in agreement. In regards to not suffering anymore, which is what we all want, to not suffer, I couldn't agree more. I'm relieved that they no longer have to suffer. But on the flip side of that token, we also have the reality that, you know what, they no longer exist. You go to their bedroom, they're not there. And there's all kinds of realities that even I couldn't personally offer, because I'm not a bereaved parent, so I can't really offer any kind of insight on that, because it would be dishonest of me to do so. So I'm just going to end it there. Like I said, when it comes to CareFest, I'm not trying to down it or talk badly about it, but my only concern, my biggest concern, is it making any kind of change? Are you actually making a difference? Are the people in Washington actually listening to you? As far as the festivities, I mean, maybe I think why it's a festival is to take away from the rife of being cancer, because the word cancer carries a lot of negative baggage. And so, well, if we make it into a festival, it'll kind of take the sting out a little bit. But there is nothing that could ever take the sting out of knowing that childhood cancer exists. And please, for the love of God, can we stop saying that childhood cancer is rare? Because it's not. I don't know. it's hard to get people to understand the importance and the seriousness of childhood cancer and raising awareness. And it's even harder to fight government to say, hey, we need more than just 4% of every dollar. That's 4 cents of every $1 bill. I mean, it's just not enough, obviously. But there comes a point too, and we have this problem, where the more than 4% thing, it becomes a cliche, and it becomes a hashtag. We need to actually put actions to these words. And that's my cat. Come here, Mama, Katie. Come here, Patches. We call her Mama. Come here. Come here. Thank you for interrupting. Do you want to share? Anything you want to talk about? Fancy Feast, 9 Lives? You want to talk about the poor marketing strategies? No, I'm kidding. Okay, I hear you, but I'm kind of busy right now. My nose is still a little red from last week's poker run for Caleb. But it doesn't burn. I've been applying this aloe vera gel. It seems to be working. So anyway, I guess that's just kind of what I wanted to talk about. I've never been to a Care Fest, like I said. Maybe one day, if I save up some money, I get a plane ticket to DC and just kind of check it out. But see, that's another issue we have as well. And when I was on Facebook, excuse me, when I was on Facebook, this is all I would see. Like I said, we all have an emotional appeal to children. And we have this confirmed bias in our society that everything must revolve around children. And there's people who they play on your emotion. They like to play on your emotion because we know how sensitive people are about children, and don't you dare mess with kids. Don't you dare, because children are defenseless people. They need the love and the guidance and the defense of an adult. Excuse me. So, but here's the thing. There comes a point when you do see it on Facebook where it has nothing to do with cancer. And I know a lot of people are going to be so agitated by this idea, but I'm sharing my opinion. These are my projected ideas. And you don't have to agree. But one second, I got to let my cat out because obviously she can't wait for me to finish my point. Goodbye. So we have, because it's social media and everybody gravitates towards social media. And when you involve a sensitive topic like children, which, like I said, it pulls at everybody's emotions because we all have a very hypersensitive feeling with children that, like I said, they're defenseless and they need us. They need the adults to guide them, love them, honor them, and the whole 9 yards. But we do have a problem on social media. And although I'm not on Facebook anymore, I can say that when I was on Facebook, that's exactly the kind of thing I would see, is that it typically it manifests into being number one, because that's all people are looking to do. It's not so much the cancer awareness, because it could be any disease. It could be anything that, anything in particular that plagues children. it's not so much the focus on the disease. It's the fact that it's children. And you can pull at somebody's emotion, and when you pull at the emotions of enough people, they gravitate towards your efforts because it's children. And a lot of people love the attention. That's how I see it, and that's how it is with a lot of people. And I think the only kinds of people who would really get upset about that fact, because it is a fact, the only kinds of people who would be upset with me about even making that statement are those who are out to be number one. Those people who actually listen to this or read what I have to say, and they're like, you know what, Jared is actually right about that. Because when I'm on Facebook, that's all I see is these people want to be number one. They don't really care about the issue at hand. And it's not just primarily or particularly childhood cancer. It's anything that puts children in the throes of danger. You know, okay, it's children. But they use the problem to smuggle in this idea that they want to be number one. They want the attention. And you can be mad at me for, I don't care. You can be mad. You can get your panties in a twist. But that's the way it is. That's how I see it. And it's just like, I had recently done a video recording here for my YouTube channel, The Real Jared Fuller. If you kind of had a chance to listen to it from front to back, or just even partially little bits and pieces or halfway through it. I kind of I talk about my life growing up, and a lot of people, they can be mad at me for using the F word. It's not so much the fact that I get into detail about the events that happened in my life that led up to where I am today, but I let off one F-bomb, just one, and that's what upsets people. You're not allowed to say the F word because it falls on virgin ears. And my message to those people who get uptight about that is get over it. It's not very often I use F word in any of my videos because I try to keep it clean and respectable for even the young viewers. But that was me being real. That was me coming out and saying, you know what? This is my life. I'm putting it all out on the table. And you know what? Like it or lump it. That's the way it is. But I didn't mean to offend, because everybody, even in this day and age, people are offended by everything. Everything, especially including the F word. Oh well. I'm sure majority of those people, in hindsight, when they get offended by someone else using the F word, I almost said it. How do you know they're not using it? Behind closed doors, when children aren't around. So, Mr. or Mrs. Self-Righteous, come down from your high horse. It's just a word. It's not, oh well, big deal. It doesn't seem to be a big deal when you use the word. But anyway, I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I just wanted to get that out there. But as for today, I am just kind of hanging out. And I guess that's really all I wanted to talk about. But again, we there's always that issue where we want, we think we're doing good in a lot of things, but sometimes it manifests into other things. And I'm not saying that a person's mission or their goal or their what they're trying to accomplish isn't genuine. But what I'm saying is that if you just kind of stop and just really think about it and just kind of read in between the lines, it's you can see it. It's they use the one thing that plagues children to smuggle in this idea of, oh, I want to be number one. I have this this hunger, this burning desire to be number one. I need the most attention. They'll never admit to that because, they'll say, well, that Jared Fuller's just a big mouth. I just speak the truth. I just speak the truth. And I'm not saying that everybody has this intuition that they want to be number one, because I have a lot of friends who were affected by childhood cancer, and they are trying to make this aware. They're speaking from personal experience. And I'm not saying that, and I'm also not saying that those people who are doing it, that they weren't affected by childhood cancer, and being affected or not affected is actually irrelevant. What I'm saying is that it's to do it, to get the word out, fine. But when you're hungry for attention and you're craved for this desire of being number one, because what happened is, on Facebook, there's this great divide between people. There's a lot of people doing their own thing, their own mission, but it all meets up in the end at one specific end point, which is trying to find cures for childhood cancer. Our hearts are in the right place, but you have individuals doing their own thing. There's all different kinds of organizations and charities and things like that, but it all leads up to the same point. And what it is, what I could see from my point of view, is that it's a race to the top. It's nothing else. It's nothing shy of that. It's a race to the top. Who can do the best job the quickest, and who can do the most, and okay, we're going to hold these people on a pedestal, put them on a shelf. We're going to give them special treatment, and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. It becomes a problem. If you want to get on your knees and bow down and genuflect to a charity or a cause or whatever, that's totally up to you. Personally, I donate to charity all the time. And the thing is I'm not doing it for the thank yous or the props or isn't Jared special? Look at him. No, I do it because it's something that deeply affected me. I don't care about being number one. It was never something I never thought about it. I never cared if I was number one. But some people, and there are some people, they know who they are, they don't care about anything but being number one. And that's where it poses a problem. And like I said, I have several friends who raise awareness to childhood cancer, and they're doing wonderful things. I don't even think they're concerned about being number one. I don't see that. And I'm not just saying that because they're my friends. I just don't think that their concern is being number one. Their concern is getting the word out that childhood cancer affected my child, and I'm trying to get you enthused about raising awareness. I'm trying to get you involved in this, and if, at best, at least get you inspired enough to want to raise awareness to it and to donate to charities and things. But that's really all we can do. I don't care about being number one. Number one is not an issue for me. It never was. It never will be. But I'm just one of those people who survived it, and I talk about my story. And I hope that my story could be influential and inspirational. And I hope it provides some kind of hope somewhere. Because that's all I've ever wanted to do. I started raising awareness in 2014. I know I said 2015 a couple times, but I think it was more along the lines like 2014, because I was on Twitter, and everybody, the people that I talked to on Twitter, they knew that I was a childhood cancer survivor, and I was helping to get the word out even then. But like I said, for me, it's not about being number one. Because at the end of the day, and preferably the rest of my life, I'm a childhood cancer survivor. There's no changing it. There's no undoing it. Once you've been affected by it, that's it. That's it. There is no turning back. There's no, well, I'm going to opt out of this. No. I'm a lifetime member of a not so popular club. I mean, it's popular in the sense that we are aware of childhood cancer, but it's not like a glee club, because I don't take glee in children getting cancer, and I don't certainly take glee in the fact that I had it when I was a baby. I don't take pride in these things. I don't cherish children having cancer. I'm just using my story, and I'm reintroducing it back into the community as a representative, I would say, that we need to make this known. 4% is just not enough. And while I wish I could be down there with my brothers and sisters protesting and marching on Capitol Hill, it's just not possible for me at the moment. I'm not financially capable of affording a plane ticket to make it to D.C. Maybe next year or a couple years from now. That's even if the person who runs it, which he knows who he is, that's even if I'm allowed to show up. But, well, we'll see. And if I do show up, I'm not looking to cause trouble. I just want to stand united with my brothers and sisters and say, hey, this isn't Facebook anymore. This is reality, and now you're going to have to face me. And if I want to engage in conversation, let's have a talk. Because there's a lot of people I would have loved to have met, because I only heard about them or knew about them on Facebook. And there were so many people I wanted to meet and talk to and just, get to know who they are. They can get to know who I am. And that's another problem we have. It just, I know it just keeps snowballing into other topics here. But that is another reason we have with social media, is that if it's, social media defines who we are. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Because what you see and hear or whatever about me on Facebook, or anybody, even you, it doesn't mean that that is who we are. This is what somebody else came up with. That doesn't define me, because you haven't met the real me. You haven't met the real me. And if we actually talked on the phone, which I have certainly talked with a lot of people on the phone, you would know that whatever was being said was a lie. And furthermore, the things that people want to say are extremely, not only illegal, but just disgusting. I mean, come on. Why is this so hard for people to understand? It's one of the reasons I walked away from Facebook and all forms of social media. I just got tired of catering to this idea that this is now the new way of defining who we are. Well, that's crap, because anybody who personally knows you knows that your real life, apart from the electronic life, doesn't even come into there's no comparison. There's comparison, but there's no equality there. Facebook and social media is just for show for a lot of people, because we know who they really are and what they're really like, and how they act on social media is not how they act in real life. And we need to get off this idea that social media defines who we are as people, because it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. Now, like I said, I'm one who I'm more of an evidence kind of a person, and like I said, I don't want to make every video into a speech about trolls and things like that, but Facebook is it is a shortcut for people to keep in touch and keep in contact. And I'm not trying to say anything negative, because I still have a lot of friends who use Facebook. I would much rather talk to somebody over the phone or meet up in person sometime. that's just me, I guess. For being 31, I'm still old-fashioned. But I wish people wouldn't use social media as a way to, social media doesn't define us. Because it plays with your mind. Social media is not healthy for anybody, and it took me a long time to figure that out. It took me 6 years to sign up with some form of, Facebook, because I was on MySpace long before Facebook, and I don't even know if anybody uses MySpace anymore. But it took me, I want to say, 6 years since Facebook's initial launch to decide to get a Facebook page. And I was on there for 7 years, and you learn about people very, very quickly. And, well, Jared, he became this outspoken guy who bashes advocates. Yeah, when they are worthy and deserving of being bashed. There's still people out there who try to make me feel guilty for speaking in opposition to someone who does things that are immoral. But it's not going to change me, and it's not going to change the fact. It's not going to change much of anything at all. But I can go on and on and on about this, and I just don't want to. But anyway, I received a text message on my phone. I'm going to see. My friend Lisa. Just 1 second. I'm going to respond to this text here. I'm doing great. Thank you. See, and text messaging really isn't bad either, because although it is text, and you can't really determine a person's seriousness through text, I'm more of a, I want to talk to you over the phone or meet up in person kind of a person. But anyway, that's about it, guys. There's really not a whole lot going on. There was something I wanted to talk about real quick. My middle brother, for the longest time, he had battled drug addiction. He was taking hard drugs, heroin, and a lot of hard drugs, shooting up, taking pills and things like that. He was doing a lot of bad stuff. And I'm happy to say that he has been 18 months clean. He knows who he is, and I don't say this nearly as often as I would like, but I'm very proud of him for overcoming his demons and facing the problem head on and staying clean and wanting to persevere. Brother, I love you, and I'm proud of you, and I want you to keep up with doing the amazing things you're doing. I know in the past we really didn't see eye to eye, and that was part of the problem. It was the excessive drug use and the fact that I just didn't like the way things were going around here at the house. Excuse me. But I'm willing to forgive, and I have, and I want to try to establish a close friendship with my brother, and both of my brothers actually. But to the one brother who had a drug addiction problem, I'm happy that you have been clean for all this time, for over a year. Oh, my nose itches. But I just wanted to say I love you, and I'm proud of you, and keep up the good work. I know it hasn't been easy. I know there are days when you want to give in to your resistance, and you're strong for not having done so. It's been 18 months. You're doing great. Just stay on the out and out, and you're going to be fine. So that's all I wanted to say on that. So, and that goes for anybody who battles drug and alcohol addiction. If you're able to hit the ground running with sobriety or just drying out from your habit, I give props to you. It is a very hard thing to overcome by what I could see. I can't speak personally because I've never abused alcohol or taken narcotics. I have at one time smoked marijuana. I don't smoke it anymore. And there's nothing wrong with smoking pot. But there are things in life that people go through that, it gets to the point where, screw it, I can't deal with it anymore, and I need something that's going to help take the pain away, because it's like living in your own mental prison, and you can't escape your own mind or your own thoughts. And so they take drugs and drink to shelter themselves from the pain of reality. And instead of running from the problem, you have to face your problem head on. And what you do essentially is, when you use drugs and alcohol to hide from your troubles, you're actually creating more problems. And then it becomes out of hand. So if you're able to find peace with sobriety and just drying out from drugs and doing all the heavy stuff, I'm proud of you, and you have my support, and keep doing what you're doing, and continue on that road to positivity, or the road of positivity rather, and stay on that road. I imagine it's hard, that some days you want to give in to your temptations, but you just have to be strong, stay positive. I have another friend. I've known her for years. She was into some heavy drugs as well, and she's doing great. She's an inspiration to a lot of other people who are seeking to find treatment, and they want to get help, and they want to get away from that life. And I applaud her, and I love her, and I hope she's doing well. And so my hat's off to you. If you have an alcohol problem or a drug problem, and you are seeking treatment, and you want to walk away from all that, and you're trying to stay clean, and you've been staying clean, good for you. I'm proud of you, and you need to stay on that path to victory, and it's not going to be easy, I'm sure. But with determination and strength and perseverance, you're going to be fine. Because you are strong, and you got to get that in your head. You are strong, and there's nothing you can't do. Ever. I mean, you can do anything you put your mind to. And it's not just a cliche. It's true. You can do anything that you put your mind to. But anyway, guys, I've been here for about 50 minutes or so. I just wanted to get some of my ideas and thoughts out into the open, and that's about it. I still wear the bracelets. I don't know if you can see those. Oh yes, you can see them now. I'm not dabbing, by the way. I don't do the dab. But anyway, those are just some thoughts. They've been kind of racing through my mind, and I figured, well, you know what, I should just kind of introduce these thoughts and all what I'm thinking. I should just get it out there in my Sunday video, and I hope it doesn't cause too much of a stir. But, if you hear things you don't want to hear, well, maybe there's some truth to it. Just as an example, excuse me, just as an example, when, because, even now, to this day, I'll still get a text message from someone that says, oh, you and your dad are the same people. No, we're not. We're not. My dad had done a live video using the very webcam that I'm using to do this video. Because he said, let's go live. Okay, let's do a live video. And my dad was featured in the live video. It's my dad's Facebook. We're not the same people. And I don't know how I don't know of any other way to get this across to people that we are not the same people. It's not me using my dad's Facebook to do the posts and all that. Oh, well, he shares things about childhood cancer, and he only ever talks about Jared. Well, first of all, we live under the same freaking roof. So naturally, my dad will probably talk about me just in the same way he talks about Amy. Now, if it were the case where my brother Wayne or my brother Jay were living here, which neither one of them do, but if that were the case, and if the script was flipped where I was living in Saginaw, or if I was living somewhere else, and they were living here, my dad would most likely be talking about them more. Because you see them every day. It's not rocket science. It's Logic 101. And as far as my dad sharing cancer-related posts, yeah. He's the father of a child who had cancer, which is me. Duh. Come on. I can't believe I would even have to explain the logic with that. But it's like I said, it's Facebook. Facebook, and it's not an insult to people who use Facebook, because I have friends who use Facebook. But with a lot of the people I've noticed, Facebook is like the magnifying glass that when you pass it over, it magnifies ignorance from people. And it's not particularly my friends. It's not limited to my friends, because my friends aren't ignorant, I don't think. And maybe I'm just being biased, but I don't think they're ignorant. With a lot of people who I thought were my friends, I'll put it that way. When you pass the magnifying glass over them, their ignorance magnifies. And there are a lot of reasons. There's a lot of contributing factors as to why I walked away from Facebook and all forms of social media, and now I'm just limited to YouTube. And that being one of the reasons, there's a lot of idiots. There's a lot of morons on social media. Facebook and Twitter, but I'm going to go with Facebook because it's the last social media that I used. It's like a newspaper of misinformation. And, oh, did you hear the gossip about such and such and such and such? Well, it's on Facebook, so it must be true. So let's get all these, this appeal to popularity with numbers. 500 people, 5,000 people, 50,000 people, or whatever the number, I don't know. They come to me and they said this. Well, who cares? Who cares if they said it? Can they demonstrate the truth behind it? That's always going to be the default position to take, is can you, without evidence, there's no reason to believe such nonsense. So, and something else that was kind of brought up was, well, Jared writes love poems for the kids. Well, they're for children, for cancer kids, yes. And actor friends, mind you, not just children with cancer. They were written for lots of people. And, well, they're love poems. Yeah, I wrote it for them because, yeah, they are loved by me and many other people who know who they are. So what? It doesn't mean, and this is I think people, they choose to see things through a dark lens because they like drama. It's the people who claim that they don't like the drama. They're the first ones to gobble it up. They don't get enough fiber in their breakfast. So let's eat this drama stuff up by the spoonfuls. And that's usually those kinds of people that they show their true colors in the end. Well, I don't like drama, but yet you ditch me over what other people have to say. But anyway, I don't know. There's a whole lot of psychology that goes behind that. But I'm going to get going, guys. It is, I don't even know what time it is. Put on my eyeballs here. It's 11 o'clock. And if you notice the lamp is off, I wanted to kind of create a dark setting in which the light from the computer screen would deflect back into the lens of the camera so it could be its own source of light. I think I said that at the beginning of this video. I don't know. I can't remember. I forget things. But yeah, that's about it, guys. That's your Sunday video update. I love you all, and I thank you for watching this video and for listening to what I have to say. And I'm sure we will catch up sometime. You can call me, text me, email me. Let's stay in touch for those who still want to stay in touch. And, I don't want any hardships. I don't want to fight with people. But I'm bound to piss off somebody who doesn't like what I have to say. They're not going to agree with, but that's fine. Because I always say, if you're not saying what has not been said and it upsets people, then that's when you know you're being heard. That's when you know you're making a difference somewhere. But if you just say what people want to hear and you're reinforcing their biased opinions, and you're not saying anything at all. I choose to say things that matter, and I choose to speak about the truth and what the truth means to me and what it should mean to you. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say for now. Much love to all of you. Have a wonderful week. I will see you here next Sunday, and I'll try to do something for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. I'll try to make some more videos, and I'll try to be more creative. And for those of you who get a little antsy-pantsy because I use the F word, oh well, get over it. I'm not the only one who uses the F word, so yeah, that's life. Get over it. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. I'll see you later. Peace.